Okay, let's move on to my next paragraph. Again, I'm incorporating the diagram, starting from here again, incorporating the diagram because I'm mentioning how the curve will be shifted right there, cause the aggregate demand to shift outwards, okay, and interact with the short-run aggregate supply at a point E1 where the long-run aggregate curve lies. Now the economy might be operating at its potential level, where there is little to no spare capacity left. At this point, the real national output of the economy should rise Q to Q2, inducing economic growth, but at the expense of inflation, as the general. Okay, wait a second. At the expense of inflation, as the general price level increases from P to P2. Price level increases from P to P2. Find the output gap shall be closed. Find the output gap shall be closed. Okay. So, what happens in this paragraph is quite simple. I incorporate the diagram. That's all. I mentioned how when the aggregate supply, aggregate demand increases, there will be, there will be an increase in the equilibrium price as well, because the price goes up. There will be increase in the output, and there will be an increase in the aggregate demand. So all these three things I have mentioned here simultaneously. I mean, at least theoretically. Practically, that's not how it goes, but practically your policy might be ineffective, but theoretically that's how it goes. Okay, so E2, it goes to E2 where the long-run aggregate supply curve lies, so that's that, and Q to Q2 using economic growth but at the expense of inflation. Okay, so that I'll break this paragraph down into two parts to simplify this down. One part from here to here. So from here to here, you mentioned the diagram and how it's going to change. So that's not much marks. That's just 2 marks, let's say. Okay. But I have incorporated a little bit of the application. So that's one application and one analysis. Now next in the red, that's evolution, because you're measuring all this will happen, but there will also be inflation, and inflation is generally an effect that is considered negative. That is not quite the goal of a government. Typically, I mean, if there is a rather bad recession, then obviously you would want there to be inflation. But inflation, as far as the syllabus is concerned, is a negative aspect of policies, and therefore it will be counted as evolution. So that is 1 EV. Okay, so this is a discuss question. Okay, discuss, in other words, you have to evaluate your own answer. Okay, this is an essay based question, so clearly you are going to have to evaluate. So by now I'm done with my supporting my point. Now I'm going to start with evaluation. As you can tell by the keyword over here, nonetheless. Okay, nonetheless, however, all these things are indicate that you are going to evaluate your answer now. So far I've earned myself, let's see, 2Ka, 5, 2, 7, 9, and 4 plus 2, 9, 13 plus 2, 15. So that's so far 15K marks. Okay, 15K marks. I'll write this down in the next page. So far there are 15K marks. 15K marks. Okay. Now again, let's start with the evaluation. Nonetheless, this growth might be too weak to prevent unemployment and spare capacity from rising. And since the spare capacity and unemployment might not be hindered from rising, the output gap can continue to rise. Extract one states. Okay, so application would be, let's say, in this color. Okay. As astronomers say, the use of these expansionary demand side policies may what is this? May make output growth positive again, as it has been negative for some time now following the financial crisis, but that may not help close the output gap. So I'm just basically regurgitating what was said in the extract. I'm not analyzing at all. I'm just explaining that this is also one aspect of the situation. This could also happen. Just probably two evaluation marks, because one for the application and one the fact that I'm actually evaluating, mentioning that this could also happen. I'm considering the other side, so that's two evaluation total. Second paragraph of evaluation. The agri demand may not increase at all as there are speculations of deflation, owing to falling fuel prices. Wait a second. That's that's application. You are mentioning something that's said in the extract, so that counts towards the application marks. Core economic spare capacity. The unemployment might be too high such that might be high level of supply. Okay, so this is my own point. This is not mentioned in the extract. If you go and take a look at it, it is not mentioned in the extract that there is a high level of labor supply, so that firms are able to pay lower wages, driving down wages. Prices can fall too. These are the signs of falling aggregate demand rather than rising aggregate demand. Okay, so all this is evaluation again. So I said there's probably 3 analysis mark and 1 application mark, or probably 2 analysis marks. One was over here. Aggregate demand may not increase, or speculations of deflation. That's one analysis. Unemployment level might be too high. High level of labor supply. That's the second analysis. Lower wages driving down wages. Okay, so that could also be an analysis point, but yeah, let's consider it as 3 total marks. Okay, so that is 3 evaluation marks. 2 analysis that counts toward an evaluation, and 1 application which 2 counts towards your evaluation. Let's move on to the final paragraph of my essay. These expansionary demand side policies might be effective only in the short run. Okay, so this is like a classic evaluation point: the short run and the long run. Just mention this. As long as it's applicable, of course. If you do so, you're gonna get an easy evaluation mark, because there's a big difference in the long run economics and short run economics. You've got to consider that. If you have read anything of John Keynes, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, might be effective only in the short run as they are unsustainable. They can be kept up for too long. The agri demand may rise in the short run, and output growth might turn positive. But the governments cannot keep borrowing on huge scale without risking defaulting on debt. Similarly, the central bank can't keep lowering interest rates without risking the zero lower bound problem, which can essentially make monetary policy ineffective and might require. Okay, so this is so much analysis. These are all my own points. Okay, I've mentioned the zero lower bound problem, which is not in the economist syllabus, but I learned about it on the side, so I mentioned it. If you can do such a thing, then that's just extra marks for you. So right there's 1 point. And then again, liquidity trap, which is basically the same thing. Not quite, but so the essence of zero lower bound problem is that if you have lowered the interest rate far too low, for instance, if your interest rate are at 0.5%, as they are in many countries around the world right now, I think even in the US, then say you want to induce even more growth, you want to expand even more, then you cannot quite reduce your interest rate any further, because you have already at the borderline. You're already so low, so the only option you are left with now is going negative. You should lower the interest rate such that they're negative, and that's just messed up. You can do that, but you are essentially gifting away money for free, unless you are running negative interest rates only for the banks. So yeah, that's the zero lower bound problem. And if central bank keeps on, you know, running expansionary monetary policy, then it can run into such a problem. So that's unsustainable, and that's overall, I'd say, for evaluation. Yeah, definitely. 3 for sure. I'd, I'd err on the side of caution and probably give myself 3 evaluation. Okay. So that is overall, as far as evaluation is concerned. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3, that's 6 plus 3, that's 9 evaluation. So 15K and 9 evaluation marks. Okay, and these evaluation marks are simple. Okay, I mean, consider my answer. It was quite simple. I mean, there wasn't any, profound connection. I mentioned simple points and I evaluated them. That's all it was. Okay, try not to just panic that how am I going to write an essay and all that. It's quite simple. So that's 24 total marks.